So for this tutorial, we are going to look at how to move on to another room or go into another level. Now at the moment I've got one room which is called room 1, and you can see I've already made another one called room 2. So by going into room 2 here, if I double click on it, you can see we've altered the layout ever so slightly. We've got the same sort of collectibles in there, and we've got a few more enemies, and we've changed the layout of the design. Now I've already created a new sprite called SNL1, which looks like this, and we've got a little sort of end sign on it. So what we're going to do is make an object for this now at the moment. If I just move this over a little bit, we're going to go into our level 1 object, right click on it, go to create, and then we're going to say object, and we're going to call this ONL1. Now what we are going to look at doing with this is binding the sprite that we need, which is going to be the one that's in the level 1 here, and we're also then going to add it into the room. So if I double click on room 1 and then drag it in so it's somewhere along the bottom. Now don't forget, you need to add a new instance layer, and we're going to call this one end level. Note this, it's all one word, no spaces. So if I just drag this in here, that means my player has to get all the way over here and down to the end there. Now to make things easier, I'm just going to move my player, and I'm going to move the player over here so that obviously we don't have to find our way around the maze and just get to this. Now what we need to do is we need to create a collision between the player and this object here. Now you can put this code in either or, but I'm going to put it into the end L1. So all I'm going to do is double click on the object. I'm going to say add event, a collision with the object player. So when my player collides, we're going to do something. Now inbuilt with GameMaker, there's an option for go to room. Now if I just type in go, or if I wanted to type in room, you can see it brings all the things to do with the room up. And you can see this one says go to a specific room, go to next room, go to previous room, and restart room. Well, it's always good to specify the room. So I'm just going to drag this in and leave it go. And then you can basically tell it which room to use. So if I click on this drop down menu here, where it says select asset, and then we expand the rooms, and let's go to room 2. Now if we play our game, what you're going to see is our player will be able to move. We'll be able to then go, and when we hit this O end, we go in then to the next room. Now we can put a condition on this, and the condition could say that we need to have at least 2 points or 3 points or 4 points, whatever, until we go to the room. To do that, you'd use an if statement. So what we're going to do is we are going to say if, and then I move this to the side. So as we are using the variable score, we need to do a test on the score. So we need to say if the score is greater than or equal to, let's say for example we'd say 2, then we're going to go to room 2. Now, if we play the game for a second, and we just grab 1 point here, if I try to go in here, you can see that doesn't actually do anything. Now what I have to do is go up and out and try and get one of these other items. Now my maze needs a little bit of an adjustment here, so if I just go back and move this down, so we've got 1 point, 2 points, and there you are. That then allows me to go on to the next level. Now, by doing that, what we've effectively done is we are running a test. So this is a condition, which is basically saying if the score isn't greater than or equal to 2, then we're not allowed to progress on. And you can do this with various other things, depending on the variable that you've used and depending on what you've actually used for this score counter. You could do it on things that you collect, you could do it on scores, you could do it on lives, it depends on what you want to do. But that is a really quick way of how to move between your levels. Now, what you can do is you can follow the same principle that we've just done, and you can make an O end L2, and for example, that then will take you on to the 3rd level and so forth. So after the end of this tutorial, what I would look at doing is creating one more room, so you'd have 3 rooms in total and 3 different maze designs. And if you wanted to add different enemies in, then you can just look back at the previous videos and you'll see how we've made different enemies, how we've made them move and so forth.